All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I am here and I'm joined by Sam Carchidi, who obviously writer for the Inquirer for many years. Sam does great work. Sam, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. Always good to sit down and talk some Flyers hockey with you.
Thank you, Chris. I'm now, of course, with Philly Hockey Now, just to
Yeah,
get a plug in there. So
yeah,
check us out on Philly Hockey Now.
yeah, for sure. So Sam, actually, like maybe 15, 20 minutes ago, you got tweeted some stuff on the Flyers, and obviously the unfortunate news that came yesterday on Sean Couturier. This is Sam's tweet on the screen here, but I'll read it. Uh, Flyers haven't decided whether Coots will go on LTIR. They're weighing all medical options. Ryan Ellis is expected to go on LTIR at some point early in the season, I'm told. And then the other one, the other tweet is about Joel Farabee, who had neck surgery. As Sam tweeted, he's skating and progressing well. If he's not ready for the opener, he should be in the lineup very early in the season, I'm told. So some good news, some bad news. I guess we could start out with the bad news and get that over with. Um, so obviously we saw last night from the report from Frank Saravalli that it's the Flyers are probably hoping 6 to 8 weeks, if not probably surgery. And unfortunately that's going to be most of the season, if not the entire season at that point. And now you're saying with Ellis that he's expected to go on LTIR. Is there anything else that you can maybe add to these reports or anything like that?
They're being cautious with Sean Couturier. It sounds like it's related to his back. For
Mhm.
those that don't know, he had back surgery in February, and he he talked to the media last week, Chris, as you know, and was thrilled at his progress and said the injury was behind him, but something happened between when he met with the media and on Monday, and so you know he will be out for some time. And as you said, it just depends on whether he has surgery or whether this thing can heal. I'm not a doctor, and the Flyers have just given sketchy information on it. I do know that yesterday he was not real down. I talked to somebody that talked to him yesterday, and he said it didn't feel good, but he wasn't overly concerned. So we'll see. I mean, like I said, there are a lot of missing pieces right now. Don't want to jump to any conclusions,
Right.
but without him, it just totally messes up their lineup. Let's be honest, Kevin Hayes would go into the 1C spot. I assume that Scott Lawton would go to 2C. Artem and Nisimov is in camp. He will be in camp starting Thursday. He's on a PTO. He could be in the plans. Morgan Frost, who I think they want to be the number 3 center. And you got a couple other guys, Lazinski, who's coming off hip surgery to both hips, and Peter Brown. So, they'll fill the spots, but it's going to be very difficult to replace Couturier. And all of a sudden, you're looking at a team that had 61 points last year, and without Couturier, they're probably in the 60s again.
Yeah.
With him, they're probably in the 70s, and if they can get Ryan Ellis here, they're probably in the 80s. So a lot of balls are in the air right now, and it's just a shame because you're starting camp, you want to have the positive vibes. It's just a shame the timing on this
Yeah.
to me was a bombshell. But again, I don't want to jump to conclusions till we have more medical facts.
Right, exactly. And again, going off that too, it's unfortunate because really the whole thing for them this year is staying healthy, and they didn't have. I mean, Couturier only played 29 games last year. Everybody knows how important he is to the team. But going off that second tweet, Farabee seems like he's going to be ready early.
Yeah, they're very happy with his progress. I did go down to Warriors a few weeks ago, and he was skating, and he looked fine. But in light of the Couturier news, you just wonder if they'll err on the side of caution
Yeah.
with him. But I think if this was the playoffs that were coming up instead of the start of the season, I think they would probably have him in there. But you don't want to rush him back. My guess is they'll probably have him play maybe late October, maybe October 20th, 22nd in there. The season starts October 13th, just maybe take an extra week. But again, we'll know more at camp, and he's a vital part of this team too. And you wonder if the Couturier injury now, with Lawton probably moving back to the center spot, does that make them want to get Farabee in the lineup even sooner? Yeah, there's a trickle down effect, obviously, with Sean Couturier's injury, and but it's just a shame, as I said. It just leaves there's a big negative hanging over this team. It's they almost seem like a cursed team right now because you want to be upbeat going into the season, but when you hear this news, it's hard to be upbeat. And even a guy like Bobby Brink, who was injured, doing a workout before the year, it would have been nice to have him around and have more depth, and he could have, maybe stepped in earlier than expected. But yeah, just a black cloud hanging over this franchise right now, unfortunately.
No, seriously, I agree with that. I mean, I tweeted it yesterday. I was like, they honestly might have the worst luck. I mean, and I'm not just talking this past season, like from prospects in recent years to Patrick to Rupsov, Pascal LeBurge. I mean, I think Sam, we could sit here for probably the next 45 minutes and talk about the amount of
Yeah,
players that have been
and some of
injured.
that was bad luck, but some of that, there were
Yeah,
some bad decisions. I think
no,
Rube
for
saw
sure, I agree with that too.
it's
Yeah,
moving.
no, it's not all luck. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of both, right?
Right, exactly. Um, Kind of going off of the summer and things like that. Obviously the Flyers get Torts, Brad Shaw, Rocky Thompson. What were your thoughts on those hires?
Yeah, they needed to make some changes, and the power play and the PK can only go up.
Hmm.
So I like getting some fresh blood in here, fresh ideas to help the special teams. And Tortorella, I've said this before, I think he was their best change, their best move, if you will, in the off season. And the players, I'm talking to the players the last few weeks. They're very excited to have him here. And the big thing is, I think they're more prepared for this camp, and they expect a tough camp, and because of that, most of the veterans are here 2-3 weeks early, and the young kids are here early, and there was some good mojo here going. It's been deflated a bit by the injury news, but I think Torts will light a fire, but right now it looks like he doesn't have the horses. But um, it's time for the young kids to step up and take advantage of this. I mentioned Morgan Frost. I mentioned Tanner Lazinski. It's time for Owen Tippett and the Wade Allisons, Cam York, the young kids to really embrace this opportunity that they're going to have. And I think you're going to see a lot of young guys playing for the Flyers this year, and that's a good thing. And um, I don't think Chuck Fletcher had a good summer at all, and some of that was cap related, which he caused by some of his decisions. But at least they have some prospects now that are going to play. I wish they improved their prospect line a little bit. I would have made some trades and traded more veteran players, and instead of bringing in a guy like Delorier, who's going to block one of the young guys. But we'll see how it plays out. But as I said, the good from all this is that the young guys are going to get a chance to show what they can do, and in some cases, like Morgan Frost, it's prove it time. You've been here a while now, and this is your year. Frost played pretty well towards the end of last season. I like what we saw. I like what we saw from Noah Cates late in the season, and I just hope some of these younger guys that get a chance, and that the veterans they brought in don't block them. And I hope we see, a line, for instance, of Noah Cates, Morgan Frost, and Owen Tippett, because they played pretty well together late in the year. Sometimes you can't take too much away from what happens late in the year because other teams, maybe their opponents don't have the motivation. Let's face it, the Flyers were a bad team last year. But I like what I saw from that third line, and if they can continue to play like that, that'll be a plus. And so I'm looking for some optimism here. But like I said, with the news on Coots, the news on Ryan Ellis, It's a little bit difficult to have that optimism right now. But Torts will get them playing hard, and that's something that they didn't always do last year.
No, for sure. I agree. I mean, it's especially with how the fan base is. It's been such a tough summer. I feel like everybody's was kind of here from the 13th, waiting for that Gaudreau to sign here, and then it just kind of dipped down because it just didn't happen. But kind of going off what you were saying, obviously with no Couturier now, I think he was everybody's kind of main pick to be captain. But for you, Sam, who is it? Who do you think the Flyers should name as captain, or do you think they shouldn't have a captain at all this year?
Yeah, if they do, Torts kind of hinted when I talked to him over the summer that he was going to wait, and he may not even name the captain during camp. He said, and he may not even name the captain until several weeks into the season. He wanted to learn about the players, see what he had, see how they react to certain situation. I guess the natural now with that Couturier here probably for a while would be Cam Atkinson, since he has a relationship with him, and he's a veteran, and he's proven himself. He's a great leader. He's an honest guy with the media too, which is important. But I kind of think if you want to really change things around, maybe go with Scott Lawton. Scott Lawton, I think, is a guy that Tortorella is going to love. He's going to love the way he plays. He plays with a relentless style. Like you, I thought Couturier deserved to be captain, but if he's going to be out for a long time, I wouldn't be against picking a Scotty Lawton or Cam Atkinson. I mean, either one would be fine. I think it's going to come down to those two, and I can see pluses and minuses for each one. But Lawton's been here for a while, and just his style of play, I think, merits him being a captain. And he too is an honest guy. He's not afraid to speak up, tell it like it is. As I said, Atkinson also would be a great choice, but yeah, I guess right now I would lean towards Lawton 1 and Atkinson 1B. But I also think, a lot of times teams name the best player on the team as the captain. And by picking Lawton, who's a solid player, but he's certainly not the best player on the team. And I think it's nice to reward a player like that for his effort and the way he stands up for everybody. And so to me, Lawton would be my choice if it came to push and shove.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, and again, kind of going off what you were saying too with Couturier. I mean, say he were to come back and were to play, I think that kind of, if he doesn't get to see that, can kind of relieve, I guess, some of that pressure from obviously coming off of when Giroux had it, and kind of that same thing Giroux went through when he was first named captain, and still obviously went through his whole career here. But Sam, thanks so much for doing this. I appreciate it. Always good talking with you, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
Same here, Chris. Enjoy the season.
You too.